Hello and welcome everyone to Nerds Talking. I am your host Connor, and I will be joined by Wade. And in this podcast, we will be talking everything from RPG tabletops all the way to PC gaming and everything in between. We will use some adult language to note, but stay with us and hope you enjoy. Hello and welcome everyone to episode 4 of Nerds Talking Shit. Today we're going to be joined by Tychus and new guest here, Joey. Today we're going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons at the end, but we've been playing WoW. Yeah, World of Warcraft. So we'll start there. So Wade, Joey, Tychus, we're all playing WoW. Now, Joey, have you been playing at all up until you played just the other day with me? Have you played any current WoW?
I played earlier today for like an hour, so no, not
Okay.
really.
But I mean, like, up until that, have you played anything but classic, or is it just classic?
Nah, just classic.
So this is like, you're as fresh as my girlfriend, essentially.
Yeah,
This
pretty
is
much.
all new to you. What was the last expansion you played that wasn't like
I think
vanilla?
BOA probably. So like the last one.
Did you play BFA?
Oh, BFA. Yeah, my
Yeah, I was
bad.
like BOA. No, BFA. So Wade, you played them all except for vanilla and BC, right?
Yeah, very small vanilla.
And then what was the last six? You didn't play BFA, but I
Yeah,
guess
I
you're
played
getting.
Legion.
Yeah, you played Legion, so you kind of skipped BFA. And then Tychus, you pretty much are just straight out
He
of the
hasn't played
gate.
since Warlords,
Yeah,
Oh
you
yeah, I haven't played
played
and he
since
basically
and you
Draenor.
battle
didn't
netted
yeah, and you didn't really
Warlords.
play then other than just kind of understanding that it was a video game.
I mean, yeah, man. And I was really bad at it, and I'm still really bad at it, and Wade can see it every single day.
Well, speaking about being bad at things, we today is the 27th. Wade and I were jacked about what we thought today on patch day was what, Wade?
It was going to be the release of Shadowlands,
Yeah,
and if
we
you go through
we
the WoW subreddit, a lot of people were like,
didn't know.
"Where's my Shadowlands?"
Yeah, we didn't know either. So we just assumed it was coming out today,
They're not
I
trying
was,
to be a Fallout 76, guys. They want a polished game.
but it did not come out today.
dude, I'll play it with bugs. I don't give a fuck.
Same, I'd play it with bugs. And now
Patch
not
it out
only
later, dog.
not only do we have to wait for server downtime, but it's 4 hour server downtime. So guess what we're doing? We're recording this
Well, it's 30
podcast.
minutes server downtime
I
now.
mean, from right now, yeah. So your guys aren't getting an hour episode today. No, this is 30 minutes, and then I gotta get back to my WoW. But so, what has been the best part of WoW for everybody? We'll start with Wade. Since you've come back, you've only played like what 3 days, but we know that means like 72
but more like
hours. So,
5-ish days now.
all right. So now that you're back, I mean, obviously you put some time into
It's
the
just how
game,
easy it is to get into it now.
right?
Like getting like max level like pre now was like it was like it was just a fucking chore,
Yep.
and it wasn't like go take out the trash. It was like go mop the basement, take like fucking 20 minutes,
And you still got to take out the
an
trash
hour.
too.
And it was like all your chores instead of a chore.
Right.
It's
And
all
then you had to
blended.
log on to another character, do the same shit, go all through it, and it's like, okay, I get it, but let's be real. I gotta level this bitch too.
Like
I gotta
leveling,
do all this
like
stuff.
people that bitch about like leveling being too easy, I think are like the dumbest shit because it should be the easiest part of the game.
Right.
Just be like fucking done.
That's like the easiest way. I think they were like, hey, we gotta get a story across. This is the way we gotta do it, and we also gotta give them a reason to do it. So here we go. Right.
Exactly. It should just be like fucking get to the good part of it. Like not that leveling's bad, but like true WoW plays at in game. Everybody knows that.
All right. So is there anything else other than getting back into it?
I don't know. This is
Is
the
that your
first time
winner?
I've not played WoW with like out a multi-button mouse. So yeah, it's been new.
So it's almost like playing a new game.
Yeah, for me at least.
Yeah. So, Tychus, for you, what is it like playing this WoW? What are you, I guess, excited for coming into it this time?
Well, I mean, so far, the low-level dungeon content for me being a different character, because last time I made a warlock. This
Right.
time I'm a monk who tanks, and I'm gonna say I like that a lot more. I feel like I'm the main character of the
Yeah, when you
anime.
can
I must
hold
go pull everything, and
aggro.
everyone's just, hey, shut up. Hey, hey, hey.
I'm the tank, the hunter. Me.
No, you take like one thing. I'm taking like four other things. You're like, ah,
Yeah, but I'm a
dude.
hunter, so it
Hey.
kills me.
Okay, it's not my fault, dog.
We
Okay,
should
I
just
tried.
set you up
So
on that
learning
for
to
like.
tank, learning to tank.
Well, yeah, learning to
Oh,
tank
dude.
has been really fun, and like, I mean, not gonna lie, that's only happened like 3 times in total with Wade. So
I mean,
Yeah,
it'll
we're level
happen.
3.
It is what it is. Wait until you do mythics, and it's actually a built-in mechanic that you just don't hold threat. So that's fun. But we're not even gonna go there. So, um,
like I
s-
said, low level.
so the dungeoning part, they are fun. Especially just gearing up, like the whole like gearing up a character, a new character is always fun to me.
So some of the dungeons, if I had to explain them, like the new ones, remind me of like almost the
Now,
tone of
by
like
new, you
WildStar's
mean
dungeon.
BFA.
I mean BFA's dungeons, yeah.
So to everybody out there that's been playing currently, like myself, up until 2.5 months ago, you know that this is old content. But
It's
to
old content, but
Wade,
it's
it's
new.
new
It's
as of a
BFA's
couple days
new
ago.
content still for me.
Right. But what
It's
about the
current
dungeons?
content. Some of the tone just reminds me of like the old WildStar dungeons that we did back when that game was
Joey, did you
relevant.
ever play WildStar?
You saying WildStar?
Yeah, did you ever play that game?
No.
It was a fucking
God,
blast.
it's like in our
They actually made their raids too hard so nobody
yeah, we
played it.
thought Wade and I we loved that game. Like we were
The
sad to
theme
see
was
it
cool, the
go.
art style was cool,
It just fit like
the
what we
raids were
wanted.
cool.
Yeah, they were tough. There was like skill shots,
Playing melee
everything.
felt good.
Yep.
I wanted to get into that game. My computer was hot garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time you got one that could run it,
Yeah, but have you
you
ever
don't even
played
connect.
RuneScape though?
Which one, Oldscape or like the new one that's like
Old
almost like
Scape,
a
bro.
normal WoW?
OG.
I mean a little bit when I was like younger, but
Oh, you mean the pay to win game?
Dude, duh. You buy
Fuck
gold,
that.
buy membership or whatever.
If you were a member, like there, I remember like first experiencing that, like getting into a questing zone in RuneScape, and like I couldn't get into this area because I wasn't a premium subscriber, and it was like a super big questing hub, and I was just like, man, what?
he's like, dude, and I know Wade, he was jacked. He was excited and then to be denied.
And then I died to a goblin.
Denied. Oof. That means you really suck.
So Joey,
Also, it was like level 4.
what's your best part of WoW right now? Can be classic because I've been playing classic, or it can be
I
something.
mean, to be honest, fucking the retail, I guess you'd call it,
Yeah,
is I think it's dope compared to classic.
yeah,
You know, much more stuff.
just
The
fleshed out, a
everything
lot
with
more fleshed out. Yeah.
yeah. The
Plus,
quests, I mean, I feel like they might get repetitive, but it's nothing like classic.
yeah, but you don't have to do those. You know, like if you want to be one of those people that like hit max level and it's like, dude, I don't want to do those fucking dailies. I don't give a shit about that rep. You don't have to. You know, like you don't have to do this stuff. Now, I will say though, going into Shadowlands, I did hear that there's going to be like a bunch of BFA or the Covenants, not BFA, Jesus. Like the Covenants is something that's going to be importante.
So it's beyond importante. It's
Yeah.
like a defining characteristic of your entire play will be with the covenant you choose.
Now, you will be able to change this though, right? Like this
I
isn't
don't
just
know.
gonna. I
I don't
don't.
know if I think it might be like BC Shatrath rep, where it's like you pick a side. That's fucking it.
Huh.
Remember, because Shatrath had like it had like the Draenei faction and the Blood Elf faction,
Yeah.
and like that was your fucking, that was it. chose, and that was your fucking faction.
I don't know. That'll be interesting. Because I mean, that would. I guess that would suck to just have that be the defining factor. You know, like, oh well, now I'm this.
Did you guys play any of the classic when it first came out last year? I think.
I
I
watched a bunch of people
yeah,
play
I
it.
did. I played some.
I watched like Moon and Soda.
Did you have a nostalgia trip, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly did.
That's the reason I've been playing it.
Like I think I got a character to. God, I did pretty well. I got to like 27 or 30 in a pretty short amount of time, honestly. And I was just done with BFA essentially. I'd done everything that I had wanted to do other than some of the two things that I still need to do, which I hope to God I'll be able to do now that Shadowlands has been pushed back. But yeah, no, it was fun. I really liked the dungeon aspect of it. It really actually felt fucking like tough, especially with a lot of people not knowing how to play. Like they could, you know, it was obvious a lot of people had no idea. Oh my God, this shit's gonna hurt. Like that alone was great, and not just insta killing things that weren't that high level, or I don't know. It was different. But I wasn't into playing the game anymore for the grind. I'd done that. You know, it's like I feel like for new players, some people
That was my
might
issue.
want it.
When I was like, if I want to play WoW Classic, I have to like treat this like a job. Is how I saw it.
To
You
a
It's
saw I was
point.
definitely a
interested in
grind.
it.
It's
Yeah, I
definitely a
mean,
grind.
and you have to have the time. Like it's.
And friends.
I mean,
Most important, friends, dude.
you can make
I mean, I've been,
friends.
I've been sitting in front of the dungeon entrances for a while now, and everyone's just like, "Hey, nah, we don't need your DPS, kid."
Right, exactly. Because I mean, yeah, okay. So imagine tanks nowadays, okay, and healers. They're not as scarce as they used to be. Back in the day, dude, if you didn't know a tank, you're fucked. Like,
Yeah,
good luck getting a tank if you don't have
Dude, it was
bank.
even that way. It was even that way in like Lich King. It
Yeah.
was like the only plus side is like you just sit in a queue for like literal hours
Yeah, and then you're just running around. See,
while leveling up.
and then that
At
created
max it was like 20-30 minutes, but like if you were leveling trying to queue in dungeons DPS, you'd be lucky to get one in like an hour and a half.
yeah.
And God forbid you went AFK while in queue, and of course it popped like right when you went to piss, and you miss it, and then you have deserter for like 30 more minutes. It's like right.
All right, so with Shadowlands coming out, is there anything anybody's looking forward to? I mean, I want to dive into it. I'm not like ripping apart patch notes or going deep into anything. Just without knowing shit at a first hope or a first glance, is there anything you're hoping to get out of Shadowlands?
Battle pets.
100%, that's it. That's the first thing you're gonna really like.
For Tychus, yeah.
Do you?
That's
I
exactly
know,
it.
but but are there new battle pets? Do we? I mean, I assume there will
There's
be,
I don't
probably new
know,
obviously.
pets.
but probably, but
Yeah,
I
there
don't
would
Each
know.
have to be.
expansion has added new pets and new trainers.
Right.
They have to fight. So
All right. Well then, I don't know. I guess for me, it's probably gonna be the raids. Like I want this to be my first expansion where I do every raid tier current all the way through the expansion. I don't want to be like even a month or two behind. I want it to be like, oh, that new raid's coming out. I'm still playing and I'm gonna do it current. And I'd like this to be the first, I guess, expansion that we make a guild with all IRL people we know and try and 10 to 15 man everything. I think that would be dope.
That would be dope, but just getting the people to be on that, it'd be a little harder, I guess.
I
What,
wouldn't say
dude?
it's
Especially with
that
the,
hard because like
I
people,
mean, half people in
it's
our D and
online.
D group wouldn't want to play.
I
So then we
mean,
gotta.
I bet you I could
Yeah,
get
but the other
Cody.
half will play.
Right,
I'm not gonna say you're wrong.
between me, Cody, you, Joey, and Wade, we got four. We might be able to drag John into it for sure.
No, John's definitely down.
Right, so we got 5 right there. You throw in Ashland, we got 6. Tychus, we got 7. Like we're looking for 3 more.
Better start hunting, bro.
I'm going
You
to.
said 10 to 15, so
I'm
shouldn't
about to
we
get
aim for
flamed.
15?
I don't know how 10 man's. I thought 10 man's kind of restrict. You know, it's nice to have a little bit more. I mean, I don't know, dude. I'd run 10 man's all day. Real talk. Like I
In
personally
worst
don't
case
care.
scenario, like plugging like 1 or
Right.
2 DPS isn't really a fucking issue.
No, I can
In
we can play
current
with
WoW.
Auto. No, wait, I have Auto. He still plays, and we could maybe get with
Yeah, but
Billy.
Otto used to play Horde, and
If I told him we were doing something, he'd level a character. Wait, I know him. He'd be like, okay.
I don't know if Billy will play Alliance.
Oh my God, saying that out loud just makes me cringe after him literally being like the Alliance guy.
I know, right?
And then it's like now I'm back to Alliance and he's on Horde, and it's just like how come when
For me,
anything's
it's always
meta,
just been like it's never been like a mid maxi thing. It was always just
right?
like, man, dude, being a fucking Dark Iron Dwarf is
I mean, I'm just
cool.
playing it because Ashlyn was like, "Yep, I'm gonna play this," and that kind of just snowballed it. I was really hoping she would like want to play a troll, so I could just be like, "Okay, I can play on my Horde," but guess we're not. And then Wade was like, "Yeah, I could kind of be Alliance," and I'm like, "Oh my God, now we're actually gonna be Alliance." So whatever. Guess my character like
Yeah,
it
being
doesn't matter.
Horde's meta dog, and I want to be a meta cuck.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is actually pretty meta right now. So
Same
that's.
with like, man, I want a PvP, but I can't be Alliance. I gotta lose my battleground, so I'm gonna play Horde.
I
It's not really
mean,
that way anymore. Like, it's way closer to like 50-50 now. But like
yeah,
back during like Kata and like Lich King, it was like, dude, you want to lose your arenas, dog? Play Horde.
pretty
Like,
much.
because humans free PvP trinket,
All right,
so they
so
get too aggressive.
Joey, have you haven't leveled a character yet? So what are we making now that we're actually able to talk about it? I have no
I
idea what
think
my next
Tychus's
character.
other character is a paladin.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
a
My
paladin.
character is a paladin.
Jesus.
So
I didn't
our
say
next
anything about
group of
that.
leveling has 2 paladins. I think Joey's a rogue.
Okay, so if we have 5 people in a group,
I mean, my
okay?
paladin might be my
Listen,
solo character.
there's 4 of us right here plus Ashlyn. That's a 5 stack.
I mean,
Ashlyn's
I'll be a healer.
That's what I was getting ready to say. You're gonna need to be a healer because Wade and I are gonna have to big nut damage, like straight up.
Big nut.
I'm talking like ah.
So you're gonna be the tank then, is what you're telling me?
I
No, Tychus is
mean,
the tank.
my
Oh,
damage
Tychus
on
is
my
your tank.
tank is pretty gnarly, but no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but with like the new party sync shit, we'll like fucking zoom through levels.
Yeah, it'll be
And with party sync, because we're getting recruiter friend experience besides Joey, like it doesn't matter because like we all sync to the same level anyway.
Joey, how do we get you recruiter friend? Do you have Shadowlands bot?
Oh, that's a prerequisite.
No, listen.
I'm
You'd
listening.
abandon your
You
current WoW
abandon
account.
your current WoW account. Like, what's on your current WoW account other than one? Do you have like one character on your classic server?
I have 2.
Well, guess what? You can transfer characters between accounts that are under the same BattleNet. So you
How
just
So I
much?
can make a new an account.
Yeah, so you go. Okay,
Yeah, if
so
you just make a new account, you
we'll
attach
go.
it to
Where
mine.
podcast's still happening. You could do that. Back to
Well,
the
no,
show.
listen to everybody out there. If you want to, recruit
You can
some
add a free
friends,
starter account under your
yeah,
BattleNet,
you can add a free starter account under your
and you
BattleNet
can transfer your characters under
to it.
accounts that share the BattleNet.
Right, and then, I mean, yeah, it costs a little bit of dough, but then you
That
get the
recruiter
new
friend lasts
recruiter
3
friend for
months.
three
That's
months.
50% increased
And I'm gonna
XP while
be
questing
I'm
with
gonna be
friends.
honest, you probably don't even need it the 3 months. Just having it for 1 month is enough for how much we play.
Yeah,
Like,
but for 3 months, that means at any point during the 3 months, I could be like, "Yo, dog, I want a new character. You want a new character?" And it's like, "Yeah, I'm down for a new character." And then all of a sudden, I have a Death Knight.
all right, you want to know what we didn't do that I said we were gonna do? We didn't tell people that we're on all kinds of platforms and stuff at the beginning because we suck at this shit. So
Outro time.
yeah, we'll we'll
So
we'll
in
we'll
10
figure
minutes.
that out. Wade's like, yeah, we got to get on there. I mean, we can play and talk. That's okay. We can play and talk. I mean,
Back to we're
but
segueing too hard into WoW. Let's go into D&D.
okay. All right. So D&D. Um, so we talked before we get into last night's last session of the campaign. We talked to everybody. Everybody's overall opinion. It seems like nobody really fucking knows. Is my general consensus. Um, I feel like there's a heavy feel for the medieval though. Like what? Like everybody likes the current campaign. I feel like a lot. So I'm just gonna leave it there. Wade, what do you feel like? Take it.
Dude, I don't Greek mythology. Watching that Netflix show Blood of Zeus made me want it more. I want an odyssey through like a fucking. I want like an epic adventure through like that type of landscape with like gods, monsters, demons, the whole fucking fantasy shebang. You know, I want to kill a Cyclops and a Hydra. I
Okay.
think it'd be dope. Or
Well,
cyberpunk fantasy, but I'm not going into that again.
yeah. So, Joey, what do you think? What do you think our group would get the most out of after being a part of it? What? How many weeks have you been a part of the D&D group now? 4 weeks? 5 weeks?
I was maybe thinking 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was
100%.
thinking. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either, but I know it's been a minute. So now that you've been around the group and you've been through the heart of the story and you saw the ending, I mean, you've been through it. What kind of, because Wade and I have talked about this. What do you think that like our party would be? I think our party would be somewhat a little weaker playing, heavy role playing. Like not to like, you know, shit on anybody's day, but we all in a way really like combat, like or we like things that are at least interactive. We don't always
Well,
create our
combat's
own
also easier to
interaction.
get into for new players that like
Right.
don't know how to RP yet because they're not experienced or comfortable enough yet.
Right. True.
So like RP will come about the more we play as a group together.
True. 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 100%.
Like Cody didn't start doing the rat shit until like session 3.
Right.
He got comfortable enough to do the rat shit.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I guess from what our okay, so our campaign ended last night. Tychus, I know you weren't there, but basically
Nope.
the adventurers came through, beat the big bad, almost died in the process. Um Everything went well and I kind of left it off as I'm the one DMing the story where it could possibly pick up again. I left it in a spot where there's definitely, um, I guess, room to grow with the story if there needs to be. But if not, it's got a solid ending as well. Um, but we're about to get into the one shot that we've talked about next week. And then after that, we'll be doing another session 0, getting ready for what will be a new campaign. And we literally have at least 20-ish to maybe 10 to 15-ish ideas, but about 5 to maybe 3 to 5 good ones, I think.
Well, everybody, I think, are you talking about settings? Because most of our settings
Yeah,
are very broad.
right.
So, like a Greek mythology campaign would fit in that medieval fantasy genre, technically.
True. But then we also have Brian who would maybe like to run
Well,
like
Brian
a
wants a Witcher or a module. Those are his two suggestions.
yeah.
And like, I mean,
Witcher's
no,
kind
it
of a
wasn't
cool
Witcher. It
idea.
was Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And like, I'm like, you can do a Monster Hunter in like any setting. That's like it's
But I think he
not
was
very specific.
also meaning like within the story, like something like that, where you guys are monster hunters.
Well,
I
yeah.
think, I think, well, I'm just saying, I think that might have been more of where he was coming from than just being like that setting, like in a world where there's big monsters. I don't think that was like where he was going. I think he was going for like,
Maybe like an actual like sect of people that like specifically hunt monsters
yeah,
that
or
would
something,
join.
right? But I don't know. I think that if we go too crazy with it, I don't want to go too crazy with it because I'm afraid that if somebody's got to learn like a whole new um I don't want to say system, but I guess we could say, okay, Joey, we didn't get to talk to Joey about this or Jake even. How would you feel about playing a new, not necessarily rule system, but somewhat like
No,
different
it'd be a new.
structured?
It'd specifically be a new rule system.
Okay, we'll just say it, a new rule
What do
system.
you mean?
So we'd still be playing a tabletop RPG. It just we would, instead of using D&D's rule set and stat sheets, we'd use another system that would maybe be easier for us all to get into.
Like less stats, you cut out some of the filler bullshit. It's a little bit more bare bones. Um,
It's way simpler and easier to get.
Yeah, you use like D6s and D12s instead of like D4s, D8s, you use D20s, D12s, and D6s, I think is what we've come to realize. And it's basically just the same as D&D. It's no different. Okay, I take that back. The story element of how we've played D&D it would be no different. It would just be when you're in combat and the way your character interacts with stats and stuff and checks would just be a little bit different. So instead of you having, like a charisma and this and that. It would just be like strength, dex, um, intelligence, and what was the other one, Wade?
I
Is
don't
it
remember.
Constitution?
Yeah, like or
It was
like
health.
armor,
It was health.
health. Yeah, health. There's just four. It's like your HP and then your three main stats, and it's like that's what your main stats are, and then you can play whatever. So wait, my question now that I'm talking about it, how do classes work?
There. If we're talking specifically about GURPS, the cool thing about GURPS is all of it's free. From
That's
what
not
I
my
see, like,
question. That's not my question
how
here.
will we do characters? I don't know.
Yes.
We don't know yet.
Okay, we
How
don't
will
know.
we
So
do
we haven't looked. Okay, so we have no fucking clue. So I guess that would be a big deal because to me, I can come up with all this world shit and do all this yada yada yada. That's whatever. But if you guys have to, you know, like, could we? I mean, I'm assuming there's like dwarves and stuff, but if there's not, like, how do you like? Could
Well,
we
if we're
just?
talking about GURPS, their source books are fantasy, horror, mystery, space, and supers. So it's got
Sounds
literally
dope
everything.
already. And
Yeah,
GURPS is it? GERP?
URPS.
Oh, here we go.
It's
And
generic universal role playing
that's
system.
from Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I'm looking
So
at some of his basic set. Like one of the source books is Mars Attacks, like the movie.
sounds fun. I mean, I'm down to do whatever. I think that D&D over the past like 4 months has been just fun, like freaking
Like there's a Monster Hunter
rocking.
one right here,
Yeah,
based on Monster Hunter.
I mean, I'd be
So is
down.
this still considered D&D or is it considered GURPS or whatever that you said?
Technically, it's
Technically,
GURPS.
it's GURPS, but it would
Okay.
be in an R. It would be in the same RPG setting. It would
No,
just be a
I
little
got it.
We'd
I
still
different.
be doing
understand.
the same shit.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
Just the whole thing is
Slightly
like
different shit.
it's supposed to be easier for us to make characters and easier for Connor to DM.
Dude, isn't it already easy enough for you, dude? You just go on Google and type in bad guy.
I wish.
Yeah, that would work if we had a party of 4.
Yeah, I could do
Well,
that
just need to
easy.
cut
But
some people.
we have like
Yeah.
we're running it's dead ass difficult to balance every encounter because we just all like it's not that like some of us do more damage than we're supposed to. It's some of us do good damage, but there's also just so fucking many of us.
Yeah, and you guys
Yeah.
get so many actions per limited actions that the monster gets, so you guys inherently are just statistically going to win because you get that
Like
many
to
more
balance it out,
actions.
he should almost give like a big bad like 2 or 3 turns in the one initiative order.
Right. That's why when Wade's like, you can cast 2 spells, and I'm like, yes, I can. I have to go
Even though
through.
that doesn't make
Right.
sense.
It's not a D&D rule, but if I don't and bring in something like that, and I only get 1 spell slot per turn, it's joke. Like it's just you guys could kill like at the level you guys are at, you guys could kill like CR 20 some monsters at level 6. Like and some of you would live. Like really. Shit's stupid. So anyway, just saying. So I don't know, that's something we've talked about. So I don't know. For those of you listening, let us know if you guys have ever tried GURPS. I'd be more than interested to hear what anybody has to say about it. I mean, not that I don't like D&D. I feel like it's a great, if you have nothing, you don't know where to start, go here. But I don't know. I feel like Wade and I are a little bit too much of perfectionists, and I don't even want to say that. Not saying we're even right, and there's a right or wrong, excuse me, a right or wrong way, but just the fact that like John, for example, okay, would it not help him if he just had to look at like 3 stats?
Yeah, like deadass. Every time he attacks, he like flips through like he
He
like
has
gathers
no.
picks up
I
his
love the guy.
papers.
Listen, I love the guy, but he just he hasn't got it. And some people are that way. They just like I was that way when I played WoW for the first little bit. Like I could play the game, but I didn't get stats or what stats were best for my warrior. Like I still have trouble with that sometimes. But if I'm playing D&D, it's like no, this is obvious. It's just different for him. He looks at these papers and he's like, which mod is it? Is it doing this? And I get that. Okay, he that's
Cody
why.
was even having trouble yesterday. It's like,
Right,
bro, you're like plus 12 to hit, dog.
right. So it's
Stop
like
plussing 5.
right. But and that Kevin, everybody gets that way. Like, even Jake, we gotta look stuff up, and that's just sometimes how it is. And when you gotta remove yourself from the immersion because you need to literally figure out what the rules are, why is it there? And if we have to be masterminds of this huge amount of rules, that's going to take so much time when for the size of our party, we have to homebrew shit anyway. Like we should just take aspects. Like I was telling Wade, I don't even know if we should just play one type of game. I think we should choose one stat way, one like ruling system in a way to play combat by. But the rest, I feel like we should take like the D20 that I have, like just it's a random D20 and I just have you check it out. That's not D&D. That's just me letting you do
Well,
something.
there's a bunch of games to look at. Like Kevin suggested, Savage World.
Right. Yeah,
I
there
don't know
there are
anything.
but the same. I don't know anything.
I don't know anything about Savage Worlds. I've only heard good thing about GURPS. I mean, Pathfinder is okay. Um, I don't, and that's about it.
That's all I've known. I haven't looked into it any deeper than that. So it's not like, something we're just going to maybe bust out right
I mean,
away.
Shadowrun, but I've heard that like Shadowrun is a really cool setting, but like fucking awful to play.
Right, but I think we've just come to also agree maybe that going into next campaign we're mostly going to keep it within D&D confines and add in the
We, yeah,
Tasha's Cauldron.
we don't know enough about other systems
Right.
to experiment yet. So next campaign's still D&D. We might switch it up for the one after to like something like GURPS or Pathfinder, whatever.
All right, so I'll ask you this now. We have not talked about this yet. Joey, what level um would be your ideal starting character level? If you could choose any level to start a campaign at, what level would you be?
Well, I liked your idea that you talked about last night. Like each campaign, like
You like
this
add
next one
on?
we start at 7. Yeah,
Yeah.
start at 7 to like 14 or 10 or whatever, and then the next one we continue off of that level. I'm game for that. Or if
Yeah.
you want to start at 10,
Yeah, I thought that was
just
a
anything
pretty
other
cool
than
idea.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think a higher level campaign would be sick.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, it'd be easier to balance because the like you being able to like just pick OP monsters
Yeah.
that are like that are just meant to fuck. You know,
Yeah.
instead of trying to find like weaker stuff and make it stronger, like you could just use the strong stuff.
Just bring it out.
Yeah. And on top of that, like even like experienced D&D players like never play higher level campaigns.
I know.
Like you'll see someone like Critical Role, they'll get their characters up to like 20 sometimes. But like most campaigns like end around 12 max.
Well, that's also
Like
because it
most
becomes really
people
hard
play
to
modules
balance.
too, and like and the most popular module for 5e is Strahd, and Strahd ends at 10.
Yep.
You know, it's not like Out of the Abyss where it like ends at 15.
Then maybe
Has
what level do you start in Strahd? 1?
1. But remember, levels 1 to 3 are supposed to take one session.
Right.
Yeah, like that's something a lot of people don't realize. Like 1 to 3 is one fucking session.
It's like the
If you
introduction to
use
WoW. It's like, here
yeah,
you go, move
it's
left, move right.
literally yeah, it's literally like how D&D is structured to work, and because that's how like base adventure league ruling works for XP is like you show up to an adventures league and partake with your brand spanking new fucking character sheet. That character is going to be 3 when you leave. Period. Unless you fucking die, of course. But like, the character's going to be 3.
Yeah, I think it would be cool to get you guys moving higher up. Like, what's the big next milestone? 10 to 11
Yeah, 10 to 11's like the big power gaps are like usually when spell slots
increase?
go up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when like that would be when like 11's like when people start using like 5th level spell.
Hmm. So then
Actually, it might be
maybe,
4th.
so then I'll just well then we'll just start this next campaign at like 7, I think. I think that would just be right, you know?
Yeah. My problem with D&D is like every time I like make a character concept, I'm like, but this would be cool too. And then I make another one and another one.
You should just save them though. Like, just save them.
I do.
And then you should just send them to
Except
me.
some of them I'm just like I'm never going to use this because I
Right.
don't like it anymore.
But I'm just saying you should then send them all to me, and then I'll have all this reference material. So if anybody comes over and is like, dude, I don't know what to play, I'll be like, well, here's a character, and I can use characters. Like, if I ever want to have a character, boom, I just have all their stats and everything just right there. Like, I
I
don't
don't
even
know.
have to
With how
roll
our
for
group's
them.
structured, like I really want to play a wizard, but like I know that like nobody's going to want to play a barbarian.
Wait, Joey, what are you gonna play next campaign? Do you have any idea? Have you thought about it?
Yeah, I was thinking a ranger.
They suck.
Sweet.
Well, then now I really want to be one. Just to prove you wrong, bro.
Are you gonna be a
No, okay, so if we're going to talk
revised?
meta real quick for D&D,
I don't know, dude.
like the problem with ranger is that the ranger like what you want to like role play as is bad. It's that like you could just role play and act like a ranger as like literally any other class with a ranged weapon and do it better than the ranger.
Then why is the ranger even a class?
That's what Wade and I were talking about. We would almost have
That's
to
why
homebrew.
that's why they've tried to buff it
Yeah,
over and over again. Fighters make better rangers, rogues make better
yeah,
rangers, wizards make better
yeah.
rangers, warlocks make better rangers.
Like
I
Wade and
just
I
know
were,
Jake's gonna make a rogue, so
yeah, same. And we if you want to play Ranger, Wade and I could like buff it or try to.
No, you'd have to use the UA version of the ranger, which is like okay, but like it's not fully fleshed out yet, so there might be like some fucked up shit
Like
in there.
what?
And then you also need to know the spell slots and stuff, or you could just be a fighter and just like fucking attack with your bow like 3 extra times and be like, fuck
See,
off.
or we could try out GURPS and maybe not even have to worry about it. No, I'm just kidding. Not in the next campaign, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Rangers are fun. If you want to play a Ranger, dude. I'm not saying don't, but I'm also saying
don't.
I also personally hate when somebody has something that has multiple units. So that's another. I'm like, I hate that shit. I hate
yeah,
summoning.
especially for the size of our party, it really makes combat
Yeah,
go on
like
forever.
if we had like a 4-man party, it'd be okay. Like for example, when Jake like started summoning like 2 fucking animals,
That
I
was
was
2
like,
extra turns.
it's 2 extra turns. Like our combat's already taken like takes a while, and like this motherfucker has 2 extra turns.
And then
Not to
Bryant
like
has
shit talk
his
Jake or anything, but like
right
then Brian has this little fucking
chocobo.
chocobo thing.
Yeah, but that's it. That's how it goes. I mean, and then I gave Jake that Phoenix, and it's just things like that. So
And it's just like it's just a lot of extra shit.
right,
And it's like
it takes away from the root of the combat. I feel it's like it becomes more looking at papers
and the
than
funny
knowing
and the
and
thing that
playing your
really angers
character.
me about Jake doing it is Jake's like a circle of the moon druid. So his entire character is built around shapeshifting into monsters and fucking shit up. So he should be taking spells that make that better, in my opinion. So like,
Yeah, but
for
he
example,
didn't.
he has that moonbeam spell.
Yeah, but he
That's
didn't
a
want
great
to.
spell to shapeshift and fuck with because you put the moonbeam on people and then fuck them up with melee attacks.
Right, but he didn't want to play that way. He told me like halfway through. Oh, excuse me. He was
Well,
like,
he should have played a different fucking druid.
right. Well, he figured that out. He was like, I kind of want to try summoning stuff. He's like, I didn't even know I could do that kind of stuff, and that sounds cool. And it's like, it is.
Yeah, there's an entire there's like that's like a subclass that's like specialized in doing.
Well, I mean, obviously, after probably reading more into it, after you start figuring out how he wanted to play and actually playing the game for the first time, Wade. God forbid he figured out how he wanted to play. I don't
I don't
know.
know. Maybe it's because I'm a fucking I nerded out whenever I make a character and I like make him a specialist at like whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, you go
Like I
full
go and I'm
tilt.
like, what do I want my character to do? I want him to be Zangief from Street Fighter. And I'm like,
Yeah.
gonna make Zangief from Street Fighter
And I'm
to a
gonna
T. This
figure out
entire thing.
something that can make it do so much whatever or be really good at this. And yeah, I mean, I get that, but at the same time, it's like you got people that are like Joey, where if we wouldn't have just said like, "Hey, don't play a ranger," he would have showed up on session 0, and if nobody would have said anything, he'd be playing a ranger. You know. Now he's probably like,
So don't play a ranger.
"It's up to you."
I mean, you could do you.
I looked at the fighter. The fighter has an arcane archer. That's pretty dope.
That's like why Rangers
Yeah,
suck.
that's
is
why
because-
rangers suck, because that's better than a ranger. And basically
and they
is
attack more.
yeah,
Like a level 10 fighter attacks like 3 fucking times. Ranger only attacks twice, and that's it.
yeah.
Oh, and they get double the stat boost too. Fighters. Fighters are dummy thick.
Dummy thick.
like they're fucking good.
So Tychus, you alive?
I did not leave.
He's alive. What level would you choose in a campaign if you got to choose? If you could start at any level, would it even
mean,
matter?
I mean, I'm a very basic person. I just like it when my character actually becomes diversified. So like level 3.
I mean, yeah, but we've always ran stuff at level 3, dude. Wouldn't it be cool to be like level 15?
We've always ran stuff at level 3. You've always ran stuff at level 3 because I'm not there. I mean, it's kind of different.
No, but even when we did play,
We played one session and then you guys rage quit and never played the game again.
Wait a minute, we have like 50 minutes till WoW. We're like a mega dumb.
I told you it was an extra 2 hours and you were like, "Nah, dude, it's up now." And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
I
I
rage
told you it
quit
was.
because Wade was a dick.
I know. It's just
And that was the first time we've ever played D&D
that was
together?
the only time we ever played D&D together.
Dude, you're
Not
telling
So
first.
me
that's that time with Bryant that lasted
No,
one session.
no. Yeah, Connor wasn't there for that.
Yeah, he was. He was literally.
I thought Bryant was in the session with us that you guys were raging in. Am I wrong?
No.
No.
I'm talking about the time you played like a fucking druid, and I was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a turtle monk, and
That's
fucking
the
Bryant
time!
was the DM, and
That's
Connor
the
was like a
time I'm
fighter.
talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the most recent one. Where
Yeah,
we
I thought
played,
you,
like
yeah, I thought you were talking about the one like 2 or 3 weeks
assassins.
Oh
ago.
yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah,
Wasn't
we rage a
couple
lot
weeks
at
ago,
each other,
but yeah,
guys,
sure.
just so you know we're children. Go on.
But yeah, I mean, like, just like level 3 is basically what I want to start at for most of my campaigns.
So like the fact
Or, like,
that
just like level 1. Like,
Yeah, but
fuck.
you'll have to play for like a year to get, or a lot to get to that point. I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot of combat, dude.
I think the more fun. I think in all honesty, ending campaigns in like 8 sessions and like speeding up leveling is a lot more fun than like being
True.
like I'm level 1, I'm level 2, me. I ain't level 7 after 4 sessions.
But that's where all the RP actually happens, is when you're low level.
How
Lower
can
level
RP
or
happen
Because
when
way.
you're higher level?
it can. I'm just saying
Why
that,
why
like,
can't it?
it can. It's just it's less emphasized because everyone's stronger, so the combat has to be longer.
No. The
Yes,
combat on
actually.
average would actually be shorter because you're more powerful.
Well, not.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
that's more to a DM's thing, I would say. Like
that's
me,
like,
It has
yeah.
nothing to do with your
I
level.
You
try
can
and rule
well,
things different. I try and give them less
whatever.
HP and more
Yeah, I mean,
damage
I
so
guess you're right,
the
but
fights
like,
are more deadlier. That's how I try and DM. So that way, with our group, since we have so many people, I don't want it to be this long, drawn out battle. I want to make the monster really strong. Want to
Yeah,
give
where
them
like it's the total combat's like 5 or 6 rounds, but it's
right.
like 5 or 6. Like, oh my god, somebody almost fucking died.
Like, dude, how long was last night? How long was Caden's
I think it
fight?
was around. I think it was like 7.
7? Yeah, it was like around 7 or 8, and that was a pretty long combat. And
Hmm.
and you got to realize some of those rounds, not everybody was even conscious. I mean, there's a couple turns where like I straight up just knocked some of you guys out, so that they were shortened turns even then. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, but like higher level or like RP is gonna happen regardless. It's a group thing. That has nothing to do with fucking
yeah, I feel
level
like that's
at
more of the
all.
group. Yeah, I agree with that.
okay. Well, I feel like I don't know. Never
Like
mind.
a level 15 party can
Doesn't really
RP just
matter.
as
I mean,
heavy
you're
as a
right.
level 3 party.
I mean, yeah, you're right, but I'm just I don't know. I feel like it's forced when you're low level. It's like
It's forced regardless of your level.
Well, no, like our group. Let's be real. There's not a lot of RP. Well, I mean, we'll be honest. Like I kind of get into the most RP, right? Like, but I'm the DM. Like, I just try and do that to add the flavor. Cody does too. So John sometimes does. Um, so I mean, that's something that in time, if people decide they want to do that or whatever,
Yeah,
like we've
once people
talked
get more
about.
comfortable and
But
we're used to playing
right,
and
but
all the
but we've
rules
gone
and
over that.
talk.
I'm just saying, I think that our group would rather, like, I can tell
People
when.
want to be powerful.
Right. And
They
the
want to be
thing
cool.
right, and the thing is like it already, like I can tell when somebody's into something. Like last night, you guys weren't really totally into that Kane fight until he really got silenced. Like Joey and Jake are back there fucking snickering and talking and hanging out and doing whatever, and then once they almost fucking die, then it's like, "Oh shit." Then it's like, "Now, what?" You know? It's like, "Now I'm here."
And mean, yeah, in the first fucking 5 rounds of combat, this is gonna be Joey. I'm actively shit talking, not you, but like
But you.
fucking no, that side of the table, that entire side, like Kevin and John were just dead ass like talking about the new Doom Eternal DLC
But
instead
that's
of paying
John.
attention to the table,
That's
like loud
John.
enough that like I could hear it across the table. Just like having a complete like we're like in the middle of like the
I
literally
know.
like
See, that's the kind of shit that I'm just like,
we're in
and here
like
we
the
are.
climax of the entire story that we've been telling since session 1, and
Let
he's
it
talking
outweigh.
about the Doom Eternal
It's
DLC.
because I started playing the Doom Eternal music, and he's just like, oh, well, like he's just got to go into that. It's just how it is.
Yeah, and that yeah, but then like that like they just like kept talking about it, and meanwhile it's like,
Well,
oh
until
Joe, you're paralyzed, and like that's it, or some shit. Like I don't know, it just bothers me that like not a lot of people are paying attention. Like
true.
that's
That's
some
Oh,
shitty
why.
shit.
that's facts, dude. Not a lot of people pay attention. You can't
True.
even tell me that I'm not, because I'm staring at you all the time, Connor. You look at
Yeah,
me and I'm
Joey's paying
staring right
attention. Like
at you.
you're ready whenever it's your turn. But
Yes,
like
sir.
John has to like snap out of his fucking conversation
Well, then
and
what do
like
I
fucking
separate
get
him?
snapped back.
Do I just separate him and fucking? Because literally, I've told like we've even talked about it. We've literally had like full discussions about it.
Like there's like I understand I have a problem table talking, but like my table talk is usually about what's happening. It's like don't forget you have fighting spirit, or like
True, but yeah, but that's
it's
called I
usually
call that
yeah, but
hand
it's
holding. You know, your hand
yeah, but
holding.
like at least it's about the game. John's like
True.
talking about like the fucking baseball
So then how do
scores.
I? So then how do I stop that?
I have no fucking
Without
clue.
without
You're like
without
a teacher, dude.
I have though. I've literally told him. I've been like, okay, so we got to quit the chitter chatter. I'm like, when it's not your turn, you honestly shouldn't even really be talking. I said we need to use the Discord if you want to talk about something that doesn't have
No,
to
in all
do with D
honesty,
and D.
like no one should be talking at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like in combat at all. Like
yeah,
period. Any talk is meta and is technically cheating.
I know. That's what I've tried to go over. That's why I said first campaign is whatever because everybody's got to just learn the game. Second campaign, you guys start talking or being indecisive, I'm just gonna literally attack and get a surprise attack because you guys are sitting over there chit chatting and like that's just how it's gonna be. Like, okay, you guys want to sit there and talk and be talking about whatever and put up your hand. No, no, we're not doing that. It's like when it's your turn, you're in character. If you want to do something, you announce it and you do it. You know, it's going to be a little bit more critical because that's how it should be played. And that brings out more role play if I hold you accountable all the time. If I'm not, then I'm at fault too. But I understand that that was going to happen, honestly. I mean, that's just how it is.
Well, personally, to me, it's kind of rude. Like when you're
Well,
talking
it
and there's a
is.
bunch of other people talking.
It is.
Like it kind of fucks me up when that happens. Like I'm not trying to say I'm a saint because I do talk to Jake sometimes, but when you're telling the story, I'm fucking listening.
Right.
Like,
But
and then when
sometimes
people are
not
talking,
everybody is. That's okay.
dude,
So
I just
then,
want to.
right, because they don't necessarily want to be there as bad as other people. That's that's part of it. Because they were obviously, you know, not as in it as you are. So that what do I gotta do to bring them in? We'll sum this up in the next like 5 minutes
There,
here and end it up here. What's the best thing going in for another campaign that you think that I can do to grab someone's attention?
I think exactly what you were saying earlier with like no talk, not really no talking, but like you hold us way more accountable for our shit. Like it's our turn. Fucking do what you're gonna do. Role play how you're gonna role play.
Or your ass is just getting skipped?
Yeah, pretty. Yeah, yes. Like I understand you guys got a bunch of spells other than Elder's Blast and all that stuff.
But like you
So
see how
you
easy it
gotta
is
flip
to
through
like
all your spells and all that
right,
stuff.
but
Like
there's 6 or 7. What? How many we got? 7 people or whatever. Like you should be able to, by the time it's your
and then
turn, know what you're doing or know. Okay, if this happens, I'm gonna do this. But when it's not, like, dude, I can't stand when I can get through 3 people's turn and then I get to one person and that one person's turn took as long as almost an entire round with some other people. Like it's literally, do you want to move? Do you want to attack? Do you want a bonus action? That's the 3 things. It becomes really hard when there's too many options. And I feel like we have so many options and spells and papers that my fear of going into a higher level campaign is that's going to intensify and become worse. I'll be honest. Um,
I can
when
see that.
like when we talk about, oh, I want to go into a higher level, that's why I have to be harder on you. If you guys want to play at higher levels and you have all these more spells and all these new abilities and things, you
Well,
have to
the
do.
difference. Well,
Hey, hear me
people
out,
that do.
hear me out. Wade, you know your character more
Yeah.
than, let's say, Cody, like, or somebody that doesn't know their character. Like, you know, I do 1d8, whatever. You know that my character moves X. You know I have X amount of HP. You know what armor you're wearing. You know what your AC is. You know what your mods are. Okay? If I ask John what his AC is or whatever, he has to every time pick up his paper. Now, that's maybe, that's just because he is who he is. Cody does the same thing. Kevin does the same thing. You know, sometimes like I used to do the same thing, but it's at the point where when you have so many people, if we go into a higher level, if we have half the group or more than half the group having to every time it's their turn, not only not be ready in the last, 5 or 6 people that have gone before them, plus the enemy, if you're still not ready, how? That's what I don't get. And I've kept my cool for like 4 months, but it's like going into the next session 0, I'm laying that shit out.
So Joey, to put the reason why this is scratching me and Connor specifically the wrong way, a typical Adventurers Day for like an Adventure League session of D&D
Yeah, so it doesn't
has
sound like we're
like
just whining.
has like 4 combats. 2 of them being random encounters, one of them being difficult, and the last one being just like a mix.
Or imagine you're in
And
a dungeon. Like imagine if I actually send you in a dungeon where there's 8 to 9 to 15 combats or 11 or 12 combats. That would take 2 sessions to 3 sessions with how fast we move in combat. And I don't think a dungeon
yeah, like
dive.
on average, if between you're only supposed to get like a long rest between every like 4 combats.
Right.
So like you're almost the end of every session is supposed to be a long rest, and that's it. With one short rest in the session total. So
Maybe
like
So my question is, what's a normal size D&D party?
4.
4.
That's a
So
big
that's
normal size.
why you can get through that much combat.
Right.
And also, how experienced is
No.
everybody else in
Typical
D&D though?
Adventures League games won't have 4-man parties.
Right. They'll have
Okay, well,
5.
They'll have 5 or they'll have 5 to 6, 7 too, depending on the area
What the
you go
DM
to.
allows.
But
Yeah, if the DM
yeah,
allows it. We shouldn't in my opinion, I shouldn't design combats that last longer than an hour and a half. Like Caden last night, that was the longest fight. It was like 7 rounds and it was
but Caden should have been that
right.
longest
That's what I
fight.
was getting ready to say.
He was the
So,
climax of the campaign.
right. So that should have been the longest fight, which it was. And that's, but if we have, like, okay, so think of it this way, Joey. So, in rule sense, with how many people we have, if everybody gets 2 turns, but the monster only has 1 turn and there's 7 other allies going against this one monster, it's basically, the whole party against this one guy who gets 1 turn. And like we were talking about earlier, I don't even think it was on the podcast. If you have that many people and you get that many
And
actions,
you also have 1 to 2 of them, their characters actually be optimized for combat
right, and know what they're
in a
doing,
way.
it will break most D&D settings, like in
Like in
monsters
all
that you
honesty,
have.
like me, like between if Cody would have rolled good, we could have just like 3-turned Caden, like
I
just
mean,
me and him.
yeah, I mean, when I create monsters for you guys, Joey, they don't always have a HP. They have like thresholds, and once you guys kind of like get past a certain amount of things, it's like, okay, now they're about here. Like I give them like a roundabout HP, but if like somebody like turn 1 last night on Caden, if everybody would have just pumped their real damage into everybody, you guys would have done like 140 damage turn 1. Like
No, it
a
would have been more
CR,
than that because I did like 72.
I don't know. Anyway, but like a CR like 24 creature in some cases, depending on what it is, has like 220, 250 HP. And there's
How long
nothing.
is this podcast right now? It's not much longer than usual one.
No, we're wrapping it up. This is so okay. So last thing, and then we'll wrap it up. How do I?
I don't want any
Um,
converter problems, dog.
oh Jesus. Well then, so Wade doesn't have converter problems. We'll talk about this at the beginning of next episode. If you made it this far, make sure to check us out on all platforms at Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, podcasts. What is there? There's TalkShoe. There's YouTube at CW Craft. You can check that out. And I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we peace out?
Nope.
Nope. Just dead
No, that's
silence.
it.
That's it from everyone here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And until next time, guys, have a great one.
See ya.